Alarm bells for the U.S. food supply. Michael Snyder reports. How much more are you spending on food each month compared to 2 or 3 years ago? In recent years, our leaders have been flooding the system with money at the same time that global supplies of food have been getting tighter and tighter. On the other side of the world, hundreds of millions of people do not have enough food to eat on a regular basis, and children are literally dropping dead from starvation. Here in the United States, nobody's dropping dead from starvation, but demand at food banks is absolutely exploding as U.S. households struggle to deal with how oppressively expensive groceries have become. Unfortunately, things are about to get even worse. Right now, the largest fire in the entire history of Texas continues to rage out of control. The biggest inferno in Texas history is being fueled by winds and high temperatures as it rages Sunday, threatening to incinerate more buildings, cattle, and livelihoods across the Texas Panhandle, while residents sift through ashes of what used to be their homes. Critical fire weather conditions were expected to continue Sunday in the area, with strengthening winds gusting to 50 miles an hour and dry conditions combining to set the stage for rapid wildfire spread, the National Weather Service warned. The Smokehouse Creek fire has been burning for nearly a week and has torched more than 1 million acres in Texas alone, making it the largest fire on record in the state, and it's only 15% contained. And with each passing hour, even more cattle are being engulfed by the fires. Nobody knows for sure how many have been killed so far. Most news reports that I have seen say that it's in thousands. The largest wildfire in Texas history has devastated the state's agriculture, blazing through more than 1 million acres of land in the Panhandle, killing thousands of livestock, destroying crops, and gutting infrastructure. The agriculture industry, a big driver of the state's economy, was already facing pressures from prolonged and widespread drought that forced ranchers to manage smaller herds, contributing to a decrease in beef production nationally. The series of wildfires in the Panhandle this week is another blow, as many ranchers tried to rebuild their herds and operations during the cooler months of the year. What will the final death toll be? According to Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller, there are more than 10 million heads of livestock in the region. State Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller told New York Times that the Panhandle is home to roughly 85% of Texas cattle herds. The region supports over 10 million head of livestock. Most of the cattle are kept in feedlots and dairy farms as farmers and ranchers attempt to shield their herds from the wildfires, Miller said. There are millions of cattle out there, with some towns comprising more cattle than people, Miller told the Wall Street Journal. Even before the disaster erupted, supplies of beef were really tight. At this point, the size of the U.S. cattle herd is the smallest since 1951, and the size of the Canadian cattle herd is the smallest in 30 years. Canada is the next nation to report a multi-decade low cattle herd. At the beginning of the year, the USDA reported the lowest total U.S. head since 1951 at a little more than 87 million. Now Statistics Canada is reporting the Canadian cattle herd is at its lowest level in more than 30 years, totaling just 11 million cattle and calves on farms. And even without the tragedy in Texas, we were already being warned that the U.S. cattle herd would get even smaller this year, because we are looking at the smallest beef calf crop since 1948. But that supply of feeder cattle will likely tighten during the rest of this year. The smallest beef calf crop since 1948, brought on by drought and high feed prices and the contraction of the beef cow herd, along with a significant decrease in replacement beef heifers, means that there won't be as many cattle to put in feedlots to replace those going out. Beef is now considered to be a luxury meat, and prices are only going to go higher throughout the remainder of 2024, so if you enjoy beef, I would stock up now. Of course, it's not just beef that's going to become more expensive. All over the Western world, green policies are making things extremely challenging for farmers and ranchers. During a recent appearance on Fox News, one industry insider warned that more U.S. farmers are going out of business every day. While nationwide organizations like FFA are going strong, the statewide affairs like the annual Pennsylvania Farm Show and Iowa State Fair continue to draw exhibitors and guests alike. Beneath the surface are troubling signs. Two guests on the Ingram angle warned this week. Globalist green policies, as well as inflation and rising costs, have led to thinner herds and, in some instances, foreclosure or shuttering of farms altogether, bringing with them a potential domestic food crisis, they said. Farmers are going out of business every day. And John Boyd Jr., founder of the Black Farmers of America, he said, "We have already seen farmers engaged in wild protests all over Europe, and it's probably just a matter of time before we see similar protests here in the United States. But even if government-controlled freaks left our farmers alone, they would still have to deal with weather patterns that have gone completely nuts. For example, this weekend, an absolutely massive blizzard dumped up to 12 feet of snow on some parts of California, and wind gusts in some areas actually reached 190 miles per hour. Hundreds of miles of California highways remained shut down Sunday as a powerful blizzard pounded parts of the Golden State and Mountain West with snow totals that could reach 12 feet amid howling winds with gusts that hit 190 miles an hour, well above the 157 miles an hour threshold for Category 5 hurricane. National Weather Service meteorologist William Churchill warned of life-threatening concern for residents near Lake Tahoe, calling the storm, now in its third day, an extreme blizzard. Areas of Nevada, Utah, and Colorado were also affected. Moderate to heavy snow has persisted overnight across the northern Sierra Nevada, the National Weather Service in Sacramento said in a social media post on Sunday. Wind gusts are continuing to result in blizzard conditions. As I sit here, I'm having a hard time even imagining what a blizzard with 190 miles an hour winds would look like. I cannot remember anything like this ever happening before. But the truth is that weird storms like this will be the new normal. Weather patterns all over the globe are breaking records, and that is making it really difficult for farmers and ranchers to do their jobs. We've entered a time when a confluence of factors are creating a perfect storm for global food production, and global hunger has been steadily on the rise since 2015. Sadly, the outlook for the years ahead is exceedingly bleak. The amount of food that will be produced won't even be close to what is needed to feed everyone on the planet, and so there will be a mad scramble for whatever is available. Michael Snyder reports on End of the American Dream. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's extremely controversial new book entitled Chaos is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon.com. He's also written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including End Time, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on the other websites. You can connect with Michael on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and share his articles on your own social media account is definitely a great help. These are just troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.